We use water in
drinking, cooking, cleaning, bathing, for agricultural purposes, in industries, watering, in growing food and etc. In our life, we totally depend on water for multiple purposes from birth to death. But have you ever thought about how water is so important in our lives and how to preserve it? Most important and valuable natural resource on earth. It sustains all life. There is no life without water. Water is not only important for human beings but for the entire ecosystem. As we know that about 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water. Unfortunately, only 3% of the available water is fresh water. About 2/3 of the fresh water lies in the form of frozen glaciers and ice caps. The rest of the small portion is available in the form of groundwater and surface water. Do you know that nearly 1 million people die each year from water, sanitation and hygiene related diseases, which could be reduced with access to safe water. And every 2 minutes a child dies from a water related diseases. We should know that how fresh water is most essential component of life and every drop of water is vital for sustenance. Depletion of fresh water has become a threat to our existence. The main reasons for shortage of fresh water are
daily excessive wastage of water. The rapid growth of industries has increased the problem of proper disposal of waste material from them, and they polluting the rivers and other water bodies. Use of pesticides and chemical fertilizers pollute the fresh water. Sewage water that is dumped into the rivers is making the water unsuitable for drinking and washing, causing several water-borne diseases like cholera, jaundice and typhoid. Use of pesticides and disposing them carelessly in the water bodies are affecting aquatic life and disturbing the entire ecosystem.
Let's come to agriculture. Agriculture uses 70% of the world's accessible fresh water, but some 60% of this wasted due to leaky irrigation systems, inefficient application methods, as well as the cultivation of crops.
This wasteful use of water is drying out rivers, lakes and underground aquifers. That's why many countries that produce large amount of food, including India, China, Australia, Spain and the United States, have close to reaching their water resource limits. Added to these thirsty crops are the fact that agriculture also generates wastage and pollution of considerable fresh water.
Due to the scarcity of fresh water, people cannot fulfill their basic needs in many areas. According to the recent study, it has been found that around 19% of Indian population does not have access to fresh water because of too much wastage of fresh water, careless use of water and daily uses, and pollution of fresh water. We need to join our hands together to deal with the fresh water scarcity through various best and most suitable methods.
Be responsible to save water daily. Use only the required amount of water and avoid wastage. We should minimize consumption of water by doing household chores every day. We should not let tap running while washing hands and face. We should watering plants in the evenings or early morning to minimize evaporation. We should make provisions to store rainwater on rooftops and reuse the water for household purposes. The recycled water can be used for irrigation or in industrial purposes as well as domestic purposes if properly treated. The industrial waste should be treated properly before dumping them into rivers. Bigger communities and farmers should adapt to the practice of rainwater harvesting. We should stop using plastics and dispose of them in an adequate way. We can make people aware about water problems by means of social campaigns and other ways. We should educate our children about water saving from an early age.
And one thing, we cannot imagine our lives without water. It is unfortunate that mankind has neglected this precious gift from God. Conservation of water is a necessity to save life. All living organisms on this planet need water to survive. If we do not give importance to surviving or conserving water, then our future generation will face lot of problems. ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಒಂದು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಿಂದ 100 ಟನ್ನೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ 100 ಟನ್ನ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಏನನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಈ ನೀರು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಷ್ಟೇ. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮರಿಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಸೇವ್ ವಾಟರ್, ಸೇವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್, ಸೇವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್, ಸೇವ್ ಯುವರ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. Millions of people around the world sleep hungry in the night. Billions of people eat non-nutritious food and unhealthy food. More than 9 million people around the world dying from hunger every year. But as humans, we don't know the worth of food. Recently, United Nations Environment Program has come up with the Food Waste Index, where they have highlighted the 17% of the food available in the consumer level all over the world is wasted. This means if there is 100 kg of food available in the world, 17 kg has been wasted out of it. In the year 2019, 931 million tons of food were wasted globally, and this food was enough to circle the earth 7 times. In entire world, 5.3 billion tons of food available are produced in 2019. Out of that, 931 million tons of food with 17% of available food wasted complete. According to the report, this wastage food is equal to about 23 million fully loaded 40 tons trucks. And as I already told, this waste food enough to circle the earth 7 times. 61% of the food waste is through households. In India, in the year 2019, household food waste is estimated to about 68.7 million tons a year. As we know that 931 million tons of food was wasted. If we just calculate according to per capita, every person wastes about 121 kg of food every year. That means each person in the world individually wasting about nearly 350 grams of food every day. In India, house food waste estimate is about 50 kg per capita per year, means nearly 68 millions of tons wasted a year. 61% of food that is being produced in the kitchen are thrown away without consuming. At the same time, there are millions of children in poor countries such as Uganda, Republic of Congo, Sudan and etc., where there are people die because of starvation. It's the utter wastage of earth resources because of millions of people not getting food in many countries. Even in India, we have a lot of problems of malnutrition, hunger and etc. For these reasons, we should know about the importance of food and what are the consequences of food wastage. Nearly 690 million people affected by hunger in 2019. 3 billion people unable to afford a healthy diet means they eat non-nutritious food. Apart from this, we should know that food wastage is actually leads to about 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions are associated with food that is not consumed. Food wastage is also leading to soil pollution and water pollution. And the main reasons for wasting of food are lack of clarity in the supply demand situation led to manufacturers producing the extra food, and hence this leads to food waste on an industrial level. On an individual level, food waste occurs due to irresponsibility and lack of awareness of nutrition. Lack of planning and insufficient resources led to food waste in restaurants and hotels. Less than 3% of the food waste is recycled. Lack of awareness of proper diet and nutritional values among the masses leads to food waste in the world. We must save the food. In Hindu culture, wasting food on our plate is considered to be sin. Many religions such as Sikhism, Buddhism and Jainism believe that wasting food will lead us to hell after our death. Children should be taught right from their childhood not to waste food on their plate. Food waste should be controlled in our home first. It is considered as God, and throwing it away without consuming it is as good as committing a sin. Students in schools, colleges and universities should be taught about the negative impact of food waste. We know that in the year 2016, France was the first country in the world to ban food waste on an industrial level in stores, hotels and restaurants. ಒಂದು ತುತ್ತು ಅನ್ನದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಜನರ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮವಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. We only follow Shivkumar Swamiji but do not follow his principles. Similarly, we follow the God Sri Krishna but not Bhagavad Gita. That's why we have failed to maintain the wealth of our natural resources of earth. But I would like to say one thing: when the wells dry, we know the worth of water. And similarly, when our stomach will dry, then we know the worth of food. Not only this, there are many other precious resources on earth. If we come to electricity, it is the best gift of science to mankind. Modern world without electricity is impossible. We already know that how the electricity is important in our life. Similarly, we should know that how to conserve electricity from unnecessarily wasting. Because electricity generation depends largely on non-replaceable resources like coal and other fossil fuel for generating electricity. This fuel has limited reserves and it will take millions of years to replenish these reserves. Then how to save electricity? There are many different ways in which we can save electricity and thus conserve energy. At home, elementary actions should be taken such as unplugging computers, turning off televisions, switch off the lights when there is no use. We can install thermostat technology in our home. Solar panels can be planted. We can use more natural light in the daytime instead of switching on lights. We can keep our windows open to get natural air instead of fans. We can increase our outdoor activities more like playing, gardening, reading, etc. We can use laptops from desktops because laptops consumes less energy than desktops. We can use LED bulbs than incandescent lighting because LED bulbs use more than 75% less energy than incandescent bulbs. If we come to fossil fuels, already we know that how fossil fuels are most important in a part of modern lifestyle, and these are the limited reserves and it will take millions of years to replenish these reserves. There are many ways in which we can save fossil fuels. Conversion into efficient forms like CNG, avoid wastage of oil. For example, use public buses, use cycles or walk for short distances. Make more use of renewable source of energy like using solar energy, windmills to generate electricity and etc. And lastly, conservation of biodiversity. Conservation of biodiversity relates to what we owe to millions of plant, animals and micro species with whom we share this planet. Philosophically or spiritually, we need to realize that every species has an intrinsic value, even if it may be or may not be for any economic value to us. So, we have a moral duty to take care for their well-being and pass on our biological legacy in good order to our future generation. And one thing we have to remember that if power was the reason for previous world wars, definitely water, food, electricity, fossil fuels and other resources will be the one for the future. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸಡನ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ದಿನನಿತ್ಯದ ಹವ್ಯಾಸಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ಪ್ರಕೃತಿ ಸಂಪತ್ತಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ನಮ್ಮ ಭವಿಷ್ಯಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆದರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಲೆಡ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬಿಗ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್